Hello everyone. My presentation today is about violence and death in Romeo and Juliet play. Romeo and Juliet is quite possibly the most famous love story of all time. It has many concurrent themes running throughout the course of the entire story, and one that is very prevalent is that of death and violence. The violence being both verbal and physical. Shakespeare merged the themes of death and violence with those of passion, love, and affection, which contrast beautifully with more macabre themes to create a distinctive mood and atmosphere. In this representation, I will be showing exactly how Shakespeare portrayed the said issue of death and violence in Romeo and Juliet. Introduction. Shakespeare's work Romeo and Juliet is part of a selection of the greatest literary works ever written. Romeo and Juliet is a play about the tragic love story of two unfortunate, star-crossed adolescents whose love is thwarted by their families' constant blood feud. Romeo and Juliet's fervent proponents of love perceive a sequence of tragic circumstances that hasten their inevitable death at their own hands. Discussion questions. There are the most three questions about my presentation. The first question, how is death portrayed in Romeo and Juliet? Shakespeare explodes the subject of death throughout the play to keep the action flowing. When Romeo finds Juliet resting in a coffin and looks to be dead at the end of the play, Shakespeare utilizes this topic again. The portrayal of death and violence was excellent throughout Romeo and Juliet, but I believe the final scene was most powerful. The second question, what causes violence in Romeo and Juliet? In Romeo and Juliet, the first flaw is that love is the score of violence. When Romeo was at the Capulet feast, love was the source of violence. He went to the parley because he adored Rosalind. When Romeo and Juliet meet at the party, they fell in love at first sight. Third question, how is death presented as a theme in the beginning of the play Romeo and Juliet? Death is a recurring motif in the play. Romeo and Juliet depicts the two lovers' journey from their initial love-filled encounter to their death in several ways. As a result, death acts as a terrible end to variety of disputes. For example, Romeo's feud with Tybalt culminates in Tybalt's death. Example, Juliet's first encounter with Romeo at the party. When finding out that Romeo is from the enemy's family, she tells her personal gardener, "My only love sprang from my only head." This shows that even Juliet realizes that her true love rose from those who she was supposed to hate. This proves that violence can put an end to problems because Romeo's problem of finding true love is solved due to the enmity of the families. Quotes. Number 1. My naked weapon is out. Quarrel, I will back thee. The explanation to this score is Samson begins the action of Romeo and Juliet by bragging about his violent nature. When some Montague servants come, he grabs his sword and instructs his buddy Gregory to start a battle. Verona is established as a town where violence might erupt over nothing in this first scene. The fear of breaching the law is shared by Samson and Gregory, as well as their Montagu opponents, reminding us that the punishment for fighter is just as brutal as the combat itself. All of the young men participating in the conflict are imprisoned between two forms of violence from the start of the play. Their opponents' brutality and the prince's violence. The second one, they have made worms meat of me. Mercutio battles Typlet and dies as a result of his wound. He continues to speak with his customary caustic with as he dies. He imagines himself as meal for worms once he dies in poorly physical and unromantic terms. This is a pivotal moment in the game. Until now, violence has only been treatment, and it has served as a source of exterminated rather than pain for both the characters and the spectator. One of the most interesting character in the drama is now dying. The play's violence will get more severe and uncompromising from now on. Tybalt will die first, followed by Paris, and then Romeo and Juliet. This is the end of my presentation. I hope you like it. Thank you for listening and goodbye.